Let's sew a beautiful bag together. In this tutorial, I'll guide you step by step through the process of creating a stylish, gathered bag with a structured shape. You'll be able to choose your favorite color and fabric to make it truly your own. And to top it off, we'll add a handmade fabric flower that you can customize or swap out anytime. Get ready to create something unique, practical, and perfectly you. If you want to further reinforce the bottom of the bag, prepare a stiffening insert. You can make it using dedicated bag stabilizers or create your own by gluing together several layers of fusible interfacing. However, if the entire inner structure of the bag is reinforced well enough, you can skip adding a separate bottom insert. For this part, use a heavier fabric, such as upholstery fabric, additionally reinforced with fusible interfacing. In my version, I used upholstery faux leather and applied 3 layers of fusible interfacing to achieve the stiffness needed for the insert to hold its shape. Optionally, you can also reinforce the top edge of the bag insert. I skipped this step because the entire insert is already well reinforced and holds its shape nicely. Top stitch the sides of the bag with a wide stitch to create gathers. Repeat the same steps on the second piece. Then sew both pieces together, evenly distributing the gathers. Press the seam of the bag insert open. Thanks to the use of upholstery faux, leather additionally reinforced with several layers of fusible interfacing. The insert of my bag holds its shape perfectly. Gather the facing piece of the bag, then sew it to the corresponding section. Remember to leave openings for the handles. Their placement is marked on the pattern. Sew the bag stiffening insert in place, as shown in the video. Then insert the inner structure and arrange it properly. Preparing the handles. First, fold the fabric inward at the notches. Then, fold it in half lengthwise and once more in half to form the final handle shape. Start sewing 5 cm 2 inches from one end and stop 5 cm 2 inches before the other end. Attaching the handles. Insert the handles into the previously left openings in the bag. Secure each handle to the insert with at least 2 rows of stitching for durability. The placement of the handles on the insert is marked on the pattern. Sewing the lining. Sew the lining pieces together, remembering to leave an opening for turning the bag right side out later. Installing the magnetic snaps. Before turning the bag right side out through the opening in the lining, install the magnetic snaps. On the previously reinforced area, mark the center and attach the snap. Do this on both sides of the bag. Important, make a very small cut for the snap, just enough to slide the prongs through. If you are using sew-on snaps instead, sew them on securely with multiple passes for durability. Attach the seam of the insert to the seam of the outer bag to keep it in place. You can do this either by machine or by hand stitching. Important: make sure to secure the insert below the seam of the bag's facing. Turn the bag right side out through the opening in the lining. Before closing the lining, with a narrow 1 to 2 mm top stitch, secure the lining seam to the previously inserted structural piece. This will prevent the lining from pulling out and help the bag maintain its shape. Fold the fabric flower piece in half and sew along the edge twice using a wide stitch. Then, reduce the length by half by gathering the fabric. Close the tunnel with a seam, then turn the fabric right side out. Close the tunnel on the other end, fold it in half again, and sew once more. Turn it right side out to hide the raw edge of the fabric. Start shaping the flower by rolling the fabric. It's easy. Secure the flower by stitching through the base several times. I also use hot glue along with stitching for extra hold. Then, cut a circle from fabric, glue it to the back of the flower, and stitch it in place to hide the construction stitches. Tip: if you want your flower to be removable or interchangeable, for example, to change colors, use a magnet. Prepare 2 fabric circles, one larger and one smaller. Attach the magnet to the larger circle, then cover it by sewing the smaller circle on top. Now your fabric flower is fully removable.